I mentioned in my video just 2 days ago that there was going to be more updates coming to the Ticker Trends platform, and they're already here. By the time you're watching this video, all the changes and things that I'm talking about in this video are already live on the full Ticker Trends platform. I think when you start to see the direction that we're heading towards with Ticker Trends, the new features that we're adding, the new pages that relate to existing updates that we've made, but make the platform as a whole more valuable, I think it's really going to get a lot of people excited, especially in a financial market context, also in an alternative data analysis context. All of these new features that we're adding and improvements to the platform are, again, just making this platform exponentially more valuable. So, Ticker Trends right now is at a $95 per month subscription price with a $10 7-day trial. So, if you're interested in anything I talk about in this video about the Ticker Trends platform, about using alternative data for financial market trading, then really just a $10 7-day trial is all you need to do to get full access to the Ticker Trends platform, the improvements, the things that I'm talking about in this video, and really just give it a shot, right? It's $10 that can potentially lead to you developing and improving your strategy when trading in financial markets, improving your edge over the rest of the market, which can pay dividends. $95 per month is really nothing in the grand scheme of things if you are even increasing your portfolio returns by a couple percent per year. That already makes the subscription worth it. So that's why I think it's such an amazing deal. Now, a little overview of the new features that we've added is we've added some new pages in the analysis section of the Ticker Trends website. These pages relate to TikTok and Reddit analysis, and we've also made some improvements to the general platform in terms of more bug fixes and more things that make it feel more polished and finalized. So these are things including authentication handling, the smoothness of the platform, less bugs. We've added extrapolated data for all data sources, meaning that now all data sources have daily values, even if the actual data points are not daily values, if that makes sense, and much, much more. And I'll talk about all of it in this video. Before I get into the changes to the Ticker Trends platform, which I think you guys will really like, I do want to quickly mention something that I talked about in my video just a couple days ago. The Social Arbitrage Fund is rapidly coming up to our launch date. Again, we are a fully regulated US-based hedge fund. We've partnered with a Y Combinator backed financial firm to launch this hedge fund. And we've also brought on someone new to the team with a more traditional finance background to complement our existing team, our existing financial strategy, everything that we've been able to build to ensure the success of this hedge fund. I'm really excited for everything that we're working on. If you're interested in the Social Arbitrage Hedge Fund, where we utilize alternative data, a lot of the strategies and the things that I talk about in this video that I use for my own research, that I use in my own personal portfolio to achieve outperforming returns compared to the rest of the market. If you don't want to manage your portfolio yourself, then you can join the Ticker Trends Social Arbitrage Fund, as long as you fall under the qualified client distinction and accredited investor distinction within the US, or if you're an international investor, you can also qualify as well. All you need to do is email us admin@navtrading.co. Again, the email is admin@navtrading.co if you're interested in the Social Arbitrage Hedge Fund. Also, if you want to stay up to date with more things similar to what I'm talking about in this video, always make sure to follow us on Twitter @TickerPlus. On Twitter, I post little things all the time about interesting companies, opportunities that I see in the market, things that our team is working on, new updates to the platform that don't necessarily deserve an entire video on it. Really, this is a great place to get literally free potential ideas for your trades, to see free data without having to subscribe to the platform, but it also keeps you up to date with everything that we're working on. So if you like Ticker Trends, or you're even interested in Ticker Trends, definitely check out our Twitter. Now I'll get into the actual new features that we've added to the website. First, I'm going to start with the Reddit chart, just because this is something that I really like where we're headed with this page, and there are a lot of cool things that we've added here. So this page is a little bit similar to our old Twitter page, where we had a specific page on the Ticker Trends website just for Twitter analysis, more short-term Twitter analysis For example, if you want to analyze, let's say, Donald Trump versus Biden ahead of the 2020 election cycle, then that's something where you would want to see kind of short-term analysis on that Twitter data. Since then, Twitter has been acquired by Elon Musk. We're no longer able to support Twitter data on the Ticker Trends platform, but we now have added TikTok and Reddit data, and in addition to a new data source, which I haven't announced yet. But it's also another really exciting one that is super, super valuable that not really many other people have. But that's for another video. This new feature, what we've added is you can see here, you can select a time frame, subreddit, or term. You can enter a ticker. And in this case, since I've selected subreddit, the term here is the actual subreddit that we're going to be analyzing. So here we're looking at MongoDB. MongoDB is a database company. They're publicly traded, and they've been doing pretty well recently. But this is just a good example because their subreddit is relatively active, at least to the point where we can do pretty easy analysis and see the data. So when you click search here, what's going to happen is similar to the instant scrape feature, which we've added on the Pro chart, which I talked about in the last video. The term and the ticker will be automatically scraped the second you click this search button here. Or if it already exists in our database, then it'll just get the data from our database. But this means that if you haven't already looked at a specific subreddit, you haven't added it to the Ticker Trends platform, this feature will still work and it'll just scrape the data in real time. So once you've clicked that search button and this data pops up, what this chart is on the top here is a sentiment graph where you can see this purple line is the sentiment of the Reddit posts within that subreddit or for that term, depending on what you're searching for. And the orange line is price. So we've just put price here just so it's easier for people to quickly visualize what a specific data source or data value is telling you, or how important that data value actually is to the movement of a company. So we can apply a moving average to this. The moving average just makes it easier to be able to read the data, especially when you have like choppy data like that. Now you can see this sentiment score over time. Again, this is a sentiment of the Reddit posts on the MongoDB subreddit. And you can see here that as the stock was bottoming out around the end of 2022, sentiment was rapidly rising. What could be attributed to this, again, you always need to do more research, see the actual reasoning why certain things are moving in a specific way, but what I would just speculate here is that this is around the time when a lot of these large language AI models started to come out. MongoDB did very well recently, as you can see from the orange price chart here, because it is connected to these AI trends, just because a lot of AI developers and software engineers use MongoDB when trying to let's say, like train their data sets, or it's just seen an increase in usage, mostly by this AI community. So potentially this purple sentiment increase here when the stock was bottoming out and then started to move into that uptrend could have been people talking about MongoDB in a very positive way, saying that they're using it for AI, and then the price started to follow after that. So you can see here that this sentiment value, again, it's going to vary greatly across companies and terms and subreddits, but this allows you to easily determine how people are talking about a specific thing. And what's important is that when you're analyzing a specific subreddit or term, not only are more people talking about it, but are people talking about it in a positive way, right? That's a really big factor to this. Maybe people are talking about MongoDB a lot, but it's because they pushed out an update to their software and people no longer like what they're doing. So in that case, an increase in discussion of MongoDB is actually a really bad thing. So this sentiment chart, I think, is super valuable, especially in the analysis of this Reddit data. Down here, we have a frequency and upvote graph. So this is essentially more similar to what data we have on our existing Pro chart, where you can see how many people are actually posting on that subreddit of that specific term. And again, we can apply a moving average to make this more readable. All the moving average is doing is just smoothing the data. And then again, you can see kind of a similar trend to the sentiment where there's a massive increase in the number of upvotes throughout this period towards the end of 2022, in addition to the frequency of posts. So the frequency of posts is just how many posts are in that subreddit, and then the upvotes are how many upvotes those posts are getting from that time. So you can see here that there must have been some post. Maybe it could have been something, for example, like someone suggesting how to use MongoDB for large language models. That post became really popular. All of a sudden, people are talking about that more. There are a lot of upvotes going to that subreddit, and that's how you can analyze this type of data to connect it to stock price action. This next chart at the bottom here, which is currently empty, as it is a feature that we're in the process of adding to the platform, is just the sub count. So the number of people who have joined that subreddit over time. And this will only be available for subreddit data, not term specific data. So if you're just looking at, let's say, the MongoDB term instead of the subreddit, so like people who are just using MongoDB on Reddit, but not actually within the subreddit of MongoDB, then there won't be any subreddit subscription data. But if you are looking at a subreddit, then you will have a graph here of the number of subscribers over time. And again, that's going to be a new feature that we're adding very, very soon. This next chart that we've added is the TikTok chart. This chart has a little bit more minor changes, but I do think that it's an important change. Also, it's something important to talk about from the standpoint of TikTok data, as this will heavily affect the way that you analyze TikTok data. So if we look at 3 years worth of data here, and again, you can enter a ticker and a term. So we're going to be looking at Crocs on TikTok over time. Then you can see that the same type of chart pops up with some line indicating the data and the price. And so here there's a couple pieces of information I want to mention. First, the reason why there's this dotted line at the end is that with the way that we collect TikTok data, we're getting it on a monthly basis. This means that for the current month, so right now it's August, it's towards the end of August, so this TikTok value that is here, this value from this dotted line will be relatively accurate, but there are still a couple days left in the month for that data value to change. So with TikTok data, we do get monthly data, and we also get data for the current month, but the current month's data will not be complete until the end of the month. So that's why we have this dotted line representing the incomplete data for TikTok, but it's still shown because it can also be important. If it's, let's say, the second day of a month and this value, this incomplete value is already above all the other values on the chart, that means that that month, that term is doing really, really well. So it's important to look at that when analyzing TikTok data. The other thing is this platform growth adjustment value. So this is what I was mentioning before. Something that you really want to take into account when analyzing TikTok data is that TikTok is a growing platform. You look at some other platforms like Instagram, like Snapchat. There are a lot of platforms where their growth is relatively stagnant as they've reached some level of saturation. However, with TikTok, this is a platform that is constantly expanding, and new people are joining the platform and posting more every single day. So this is going to bias the data that you're looking at. Something that you'll notice when you analyze TikTok data is that a large number of terms tend to just default have an uptrend, and it's not always because that term or trend is actually doing well. It's just because more people are joining TikTok and are posting about that specific thing. So what this platform growth adjustment toggle does is it essentially tries to account for that platform growth that TikTok has and remove it from the data in order to more neutralize the data and actually see a more accurate representation of the trend. I do want to mention that this is not a perfect metric. So there could be times where this is more accurate or less accurate, and it's going to constantly evolve over time. But our goal, that's why it's a toggle, it's optional. Our goal with this, though, is still to make, when you turn this on, it makes the data more closer to the truth of how well that term is actually performing on the TikTok platform. So let's enable it just to see how it impacts this Crocs data. Again, you're going to see that Crocs is still in an uptrend, very, very generally, and Crocs is a very popular brand right now. However, it does make a relatively significant difference when you look at the trend with and without this platform growth adjustment value. So I think that for people analyzing TikTok data, this is really important to look at before you make a conclusion in your research of trying to analyze a specific TikTok term. We also have the year-over-year option as well, which is great because this again is just dividing the current value by the value from the year before. If you enable this platform growth adjustment and the year-over-year, then you can see kind of the true performance of that term. And actually, you can see for Crocs, this is why I'm using it as an example, the year-over-year growth of the Crocs term on TikTok with the platform growth adjustment does follow the price of Crocs pretty darn closely. So this could potentially be a good term to monitor, for example. And this is just one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of terms that you can be tracking with ticker trends. And again, you can discover new TikTok and Reddit terms through other parts of the platform. If you aren't familiar with ticker trends and how it works, I highly recommend you watch our other videos on what ticker trends is, or give it a shot with the $10 trial and actually try out these features for yourself to see how valuable this data actually is and how it can improve your personal trading and give you more alpha and insights into financial markets, because that's really our goal. Now, I also mentioned before that there's some other changes besides these pages. Most of the things that we've changed are small things that you'll only notice in a positive way, or you won't notice it at all because the platform is just smoother and operating better. But I do also want to mention that we are updating our default data set. What the default data set is whenever you join Ticker Trends, you're going to have a large database of tickers and terms already added on your account. You can always add more yourself, but we provide a curated data set of different companies and their brand names and social media accounts, websites, things like that, so that you can already have a large quantity of data to go off of. We're going to be updating that data set within the next week to 2 weeks, and it will continuously improve over time to include more TikTok and Reddit terms so that it will be just as easy to analyze, let's say, Google Trends terms on our platform currently. It'll be just as easy to analyze TikTok and Reddit terms across hundreds and thousands of subreddits and values on TikTok, so that you can identify which TikTok terms are performing well and which subreddits are performing well without having to add the data yourself. But on the platform right now, you can go ahead and use this new data sources, and you can add your own terms, or just next week and the weeks after that, as we improve the data set more and more, you'll start to see that this data is more heavily integrated into the platform itself. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this roughly long overview of these new features. I hope you're excited about the direction that we're taking Ticker Trends, and you see the value in what we're doing and where we're taking the platform. Also, if you do have the subscription, I think that these updates are just making it more and more value for you. So if you have any questions about this, you can always reach out to us, admin@navtrading.co, either for the Social Arbitrage Hedge Fund or the Ticker Trends Terminal, and myself or someone from the Ticker Trends team will get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you all so much for watching the video.